What's up, y'all? This is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. When women choose a man, it's always subjective to them. It's always subjective. And first, let me shout out someone on my Patreon, Brother Muhammad. And let me say something else. Every now and then I get somebody on my public channel who requests something or whatever. At this point, I just delete the comment. I don't do requests publicly. I will do requests on my Patreon depending on what it is. If it's like dealing with sexual dynamics or something, I'll deal with it, or something deep. If it's some basic ass shit, I might just answer them right there. But one thing, Brother Muhammad didn't ask me to do anything, but I said, oh yeah, that inspired. I was going to talk about something else today. I'll probably talk about it tomorrow. Sometimes in my car videos, I be waiting to the last second. I ain't even sure what I'm going to talk about. But he had said something important, because he was talking about somebody he knew, who this woman he knows, I think it was his cousin or something, married to a guy 5'5", and don't look like all that. Right? But to that woman, that dude is fine. Because he had mentioned, like I had mentioned several times about this woman I know who calls her man ugly. Yet she got multiple kids by that man. She was popping out babies by that man. I'm going to tell you what. Because every now and then people try to say objectively handsome and stuff. Ain't no such thing as objective. If you got a feeling about it, it's not objective. Objectively, you could say this is a car. Subjectively, you could say whether this car is nice or not. Objective, you can't like, looks are not objective. And I'm gonna keep saying that. Looks are not objective. Because if you feel anything about it, I don't care how objective you try to be, it's automatically subjective. That's just how it is. Don't get mad because of it. Deal with it. That's why, and part of the reason I even talk about it like that, because there's a lot of guys who feel like they don't look like a certain person or something. I was like, well, first of all, there's 4 billion women in the world. You don't know who you look good to and who you look bad to. Because it depends on the woman. I've seen a group of women, they'll look at one guy, they'll look at one guy and say he ain't all that. Another group, they'll say he's all that. Indeed, I always talk about those balloon pop shows. They say it all the time. And one of the things, even with those balloon pop shows, are just if you deal with women, period. And I got to emphasize this to all men. And the reason why is, what do I say? Be your best self, and then see which women like it. Be your best body. There's some women, there's some dudes who will go against body game. They think body game, you got to be have some, I would say, consensusly perfect body according to one group of men's value system. But it depends on so much. It depends on the woman, what she like, because some women like a big man, like on that balloon pop show. Like I said, it's the gift that keep on giving. In fact, they made a spoof of it on Saturday Night Live. I was like, man, I didn't know it was that damn big. But there was a guy in line, and he was real slim. There was a couple women say he's too slim. He was too slim. But then you got some other women, they'll say a guy too short. And I've seen this with the height thing, right? They'll look at one guy and say he too short, but look at another guy the same height and don't have any problems with him. Because it's all subjective. One thing with women, they go on what they feel. First of all, there's nothing objective about what any woman feels. It's nothing objective. Because if it was even close to objective, we wouldn't have any problems. I wouldn't be talking about it. It'd be some science. Women don't go on that. And that's just their nature. And don't complain because of it. Because not a single one of y'all would be here otherwise if a woman was objective. Not a single one of you. Always remember that. You know? It depends. There's so many factors that go into it. But see, you get a lot of guys, they try to say it's objective. Like you got these guys, and I'm very critical of them. Be trying to judge another man's looks and stuff. And some guys even paying another man. First of all, that's stupid to pay another man. You ain't trying to get with that man. You trying to get with a woman. That's why I always said if I did something like that, I wouldn't even have one woman. I would have a crew of women. Because then I would just I would say, look, this is, if I would have maybe a panel of 5 women, I'd say, okay, this was your highest score, this was your lowest score. Go with what they said in common, and the other stuff is still, because it's not objective, no matter how hard you try. Anything from a human being is never objective anyway. If they express a feeling about it, it's subjective. It's what they feel, even when they try to act like they can. Like, you can feel like this is a car. Well, you can know this is a car. This is a car. Objectively, this is a car. This is a vehicle. But whether or not it's a good vehicle, that's subjective. Like some people, let's say the car, I've heard some people say the car runs nice. Other people question the engine. Well, I mean, it's like whatever. It's what they feel. It's what they feel. And women especially, when they choosing a man, is what they feel, how they feel. In fact, I got a video. I just recorded a video. It'll be out next week. It'll be talking about what a woman feels with a man. And it's important that every man understands this. You know? That's why you can't lose sleep over a rejection. She might not be feeling anything. To that particular woman, you might not be sexy. But then to another one, you are. And even when you talk about being handsome, like all these other women call you handsome, but like I've said, some women don't even want that. Shit. Some of the best women I've had, they, very supportive and everything. If you were to ask them, is Rom handsome? They'd be like, yeah, all right. Well, he little medium ugly. Meanwhile, some women that rejected me, they were like, oh yeah, he's handsome. But it still come down to a feeling. In fact, one of the first women who said she loved me, one of the first women who said she loved me. She was like, you don't look like all that. She used to be like, nah, you ugly. But, it still come down to that feeling. It still come down to what they feel. And that's influenced by so many things that are beyond your control. It could be everything like their imprint. The first 3 men that a woman could have been penetrated by, they might have been jacked up. She might be, even if she's beautiful, she could have been a swan. So the most popular men or the most handsome men in her social circle might not have been messing with her. She might have had to deal with the nerds and everything because she wasn't looking like all that when she was young. You don't know what a woman's class is, because when a woman looking at a guy, there's so many factors she looking at. And I've said this 1,000 times. And even then, it still comes down to how she feel about it. Like, you might get some women who, like, you might get a woman, she might be in a poor environment, but because she's a climber, she might not want to deal with certain men. She might not want to deal with men in her class. She might shoot. I've met some women, and this is something like, especially in the black community, they can understand. I've dealt with some women, they wouldn't deal with any, like some light-skinned black women, they wouldn't deal with any light-skinned black men. And it wasn't anything objective. It wasn't anything objective. They just didn't, that's not what they liked. I knew one in particular, she shoot, her family had told her to get a light-skinned man. She was in rebellion, so she made sure every man she dealt with was more chocolate. You know? They can reject a man. There's plenty, and really, shoot, that's a whole other conversation. You got whole groups of women who might reject men of their own race, their own ethnic group, their own religion, just because. But that's just how a woman is. And that's come down to not anything objective. That come down to a feeling. Now, you do get some women, they try to, like, justify what they're saying, but that's still what they feel. And that's something to always remember. Whenever you remember with the women, and you don't get mad at them, you know, there ain't no sense, because you get a lot of guys out there thinking, well, women should want that guy because he got money, or they should want that man because he might be protective, or he a generally good guy. Yeah, but how does she feel? Is her vagina twinkling because of that man? She might not see that man the same way. In fact, she shouldn't. Is she getting horny when she was around that man? And first of all, how a man might behave around other men might not be how he behaves around her. Like, I knew this guy, right? And he was seeming like he was real cool, but I kind of watched him around women. And he was real goofy. Extremely goofy around women. Like, his body language and everything. I remember I went with this dude to the strip club in the D.C. area back in the day. Club 55. And this back before people made it rain. Like, we had to, like, walk up to the women and put money in their G-strings, right? And I look at him like he be cool and calm and all that, but every time he would approach a woman, his shoulders was slumped and he had a goofy look on his face. And I was just like, You know, and I just noted it. And I've seen that a couple times when he was around a woman, because I actually knew a woman he was really attracted to. And that's what she said. She said that dude, he was acting real goofy around her and stuff. So my point is, you don't see, as a man, you can't see how that man's interacting with that woman or what she like. Because then again, you get some other women, they might like goofy. And see, that's something with different women. Different women like different things, you know? Different women like different things. You don't know what that particular woman like, you know? Because a woman I dealt with back in the day, she, like, I mentioned her before, very attractive, and you wouldn't think so looking at her. You would just think, you know, but she was big on science fiction and, like, stuff like that. She'd be that type, be one of those cosplay girls or something like that. Very attractive, but still, she's still into all of that. So if a guy be trying to act all serious around her and everything, she might be like, yeah. But then if a guy say, yeah, I got this big comic book collection, shoot, she might be taking off her panties talking about, I won't be needing these. Seriously. But even then, it's how she feels. It is how she feels. And that's very important for a man to understand. That's why you can't take it personally when a woman rejects you, because you don't know that woman. You don't, unless you know everything about that woman. And when I say everything, like what happened to her when she was young and everything. No, I mean, what type of men? Like I say, if you meet a woman, you might see she might be fine. She might have some nice breasts. You know, she might have a nice round butt. She might be beautiful. Like I said, you don't know anything about her. She might have been a swan, might have been rejected by men and shit when she was young because she was a swan. I know a young lady like that. Real cool. But she was a swan. She even said it. She had a serious disorder where she was big and fat. I was like, that ain't her name. But that's how she still picked men out that way. You know? You don't know, unless you don't know anything about that woman, who she dealt with, who ran up in her, you know, why she going out with certain men. You can't figure it out, you know? Like you get a woman who might date interracially. You don't know. She might be fine, but you don't know who she dealt with when she was younger, who imprinted her and all of that. Yeah, even her family. Even her family. Cause I know this dude. He married this was a brother, married a white woman, right? But she already had a couple white kids. And they had another kid. In fact, I know a couple of them. You don't know how that'll affect those kids coming up, those girls coming up. They might say, yeah, he was a stepfather, but he was a great stepfather. Let me get a brother. You don't know. You don't know. A lot of shit, they don't do shit objectively. They shouldn't anybody use that word, and anybody try to use that word, to me, is just a dork. I'm like, what planet you on, dude? That sun. Like I said, y'all know me. I always drive the same way. I always drive the same way when I'm doing these car videos. Anyway, right? It was like you don't know. And see, here's the thing. You don't worry about it. Even when you see a woman with a man and you like, well, why she with him? It don't matter. Shoot, she giving it up to him. You don't worry. You worry about yourself and worry about who you can get with. If that woman even if that woman rejected you, you don't compare yourself, because there ain't no objective shit. There's something about that dude she liked. You know? She felt a certain way. You know? Even other women. You might have some other women look at that dude and be like, ugh. But you know what? That's the finest dude in the world to that particular woman. She the only one need to worry about. She gapping her legs open and everything. You know? She might have wanted his babies for whatever reason. Oh, let me hit something else, because somebody had the nerve to ask me on my sit-down video yesterday, do I have any kids? I'm going to tell you something now. One of the things that annoy me is when I say something several times, but you get somebody new asking some questions instead of just sitting back. Don't ask no dumb-ass questions like that. I don't know how many times I have done mention a co-parent, how many times I talked about something that happened with my 2 sons. I mean, that goes back a while. Hell, you go on, you dig deep enough on IG or on Facebook, you see me with my sons. Don't do some shit like that. And plus, I already knew just how the person wrote it. They weren't caring about whether I had sons. Because you get some people, they be trying to like say some shit just to try to go against what I'm talking about. So, remember, I'm a writer, professional writer. And sometimes you can read some comments and see what they're really trying to talk about. Some shit I let go, some shit I don't. Right? But anyway, back to what I was talking about. Women are subjective. You don't know. All you have to worry about is being your best and seeing what it is about you that a woman likes. Was she checking out? That's all that matters. Seriously. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Who that woman checking out. You know, she might like it. Like I said one time, I ain't mentioned this before. Remember at the barbershop, saw this dude who had a lopsided head and shit. Yeah, there's 4 kids in there. They all had lopsided heads too, which means they all look like him. Which means the woman likes something. Because women, look, here's the thing with women. You don't know why they might like a particular guy. And you can't worry about it. You don't know why they might like you. You know? That's why I say try to pay attention to that so at least you have an idea. Even then, they can still surprise you. They can still surprise you with something. And it just is what it is. You don't get mad. You don't be like, whatever. Then, you know, some people, you get some dudes be trying to say, well, if you have this height and, you know, this measurement, man, those some dumbass motherfuckers. Yeah, I said it. Because women don't be doing all that. Shoot, they don't even use that 1 to 10 scale when it's among themselves. They'll use it if a man asks them. They'll use it to communicate, but usually they be like, he's fine, he's cute, he's handsome, he's ugly, he's whatever. They use adjectives, you know. You know, they might want to deal with, you get some young women want to deal with somebody older, you know. Like I say, a different race. You know, shoot, I've met some women, and I've mentioned this before, I met some women, they liked a man of a short stature. And, you know, and they said exactly why. They said because they know he would work harder. Everybody like whatever, shoot. And shoot, even with that, sometimes a woman just won't feel like she's taller for whatever reason. It could be whatever reason, you know. Sometimes you get some big old women. They like some slim dude. I know a woman like that. She liked this real slim dude. And it was just for one simple reason. She was just bigger than him. She had some control. It could be that. It could be whatever. But it's still what she felt. You know? And wait for that dude to walk by. So, you know, it was whatever. But you don't worry about it. You don't worry about it. But whatever the case, is not objective. It's like, if you think it is, you want some dorky shit. Or you don't understand, or you want to pretend. Because here's the issue. Here's something to think about. Let's think about it like this. If the shit is objective, how come even some of those dudes that you think objectively this or that can't get every woman? Because if it was objective and women were looking at it the same way, that means that dude could get every single woman. Even a so-called Chad or something, do they get every woman? I want y'all to think about that. I mentioned that dude Jeremy Meeks a couple times. What did I say a couple times? I seen a couple times on one of those thirst pages on IG. Women were like, no. They were like, no. So everybody, they feel something different. They were like, he need to put on some weight. You know? That's how that's just how it is. Women are just subjective. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like I said, every single one of you is here because of that. Every single one of you. Ain't no exceptions. You ain't here because of some objective shit. Some about your father or sperm donor, whatever the case, your mother liked. Yeah, even when they going for sperm donors and shit, they gotta shoot. They be looking at something. They gotta feel something. They just don't be saying, "Oh yeah, just that sperm." They gotta feel something, you know. And that shit's subjective, and it is what it is. But it you know, ain't nothing wrong with it. Like I said, you here, ain't you? So, anyway, that's all I got for right now. I'll get back with y'all. Go ahead and get some food. You know I gotta get some food. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all. Peace and blessings.